That's funny.
That's great. Morning. Come on in, guys. Good to see everybody. Kathy Davis won't be with us today. I don't know if you've seen your email. She would have been, because it wasn't because of the holiday, but she's got a trial in St. Charles, is what she told me. So she will be coming in next week, though. And it sounds like she's got some new things coming up here. So anyway, good to see everybody. I know a lot of people, we were just kind of talking about that. A lot of people are already in the holiday mode, but this is what I found is a good time to actually do a lot of business, because a lot of people are not, they're in holiday mode, and you can find things other people aren't looking for. I know in Missouri here anyway, that the tax sales are coming up in August. And I was just talking to one of the collectors yesterday, though, and their publication comes out the 19th. And I think they're all about right in line of July. So this is a good time to see what's coming up for sale on the tax sales, at least in my world anyway. That's what I like to do every year, and I'm looking forward to that. So I've already made my notes of the 19th of July, at least for that county. I'm gonna have to check into a couple others. So anyway, good to see everybody. Anybody have anything there they got for sale today? We don't really have much. I know as far as announcements, of course, every Friday at 11 right here, and then on July, actually, is it July 19th? Is it the Tuesday here? We have Greg West coming in, a longtime valued member of our STL RIA. He's coming in to talk about what he's doing. We haven't seen Greg and his wife in a couple, actually, about 2 years. And he's got many rental properties. He's a landlord from down Cape Girardeau area. He stays in touch with some politicians. He's got some friends, so he a lot of times knows legislation before we even hear about it, before it's announced.
Who is that?
That's Greg West. Yeah, so he'll, and in fact, I'm going to interview him. I've been working on interviewing some of our members, for my podcast, but also to share, with our other members, because we all learn a lot together, from each other, what we're doing and what we want to do and what we don't want to do a lot of times. I think for me anyway, learning what I don't want to do is as important, if not more important, than what I want to do and what works, So, but Greg West, yes, on the Tuesday, I believe it's the 19th. You want to make sure you tune in. Live is always good if you're able to make it to the Moolah Shrine Center. If you can't, though, we'll have it on Zoom, and then probably either on Facebook or on YouTube, if you want to look at one of the streaming sites there. We'll do that also. But Greg is he comes up with some stuff over the years that it's very invaluable as far as I'm concerned. He came up with a way to, without having electric at his property, with a battery powered dust or motion sensor that he hooked up to one of those air horns. So if somebody walked into his property, it would blast that off. He demonstrated that a couple of years ago. That was something he put together for about, I don't know, $30 or $40. Maybe it might've been, it was under 50, but it was just one of the most brilliant things I've ever seen. And, but he does stuff like that. So, pretty interesting guy. He's got several rental properties. He did start his own group since he's still a member of ours, even though he's not attending, on location right now. But yeah, they got a small group down there, and he's always willing to share with us. So be sure you mark your calendar for that.
Are you sure he's from Cape?
That's is pretty sure. Yeah.
And he's a realtor.
Well, he's a landlord. I don't know if he's a realtor.
Okay.
No, I don't know if he's a realtor.
Oh, I thought you said he's a realtor. Okay.
No, I don't know that.
I don't know that name. And if he were a realtor, I would know it. And because you're talking about you're talking about him having all the updates. I'm an advocacy with Missouri Realtors, and we're very involved with what's going on in the capital. So, and I don't recognize that name. So
I'm not sure who his friend is. He's got a friend right there that he's pretty close with. That is, we'll have to ask him to clarify that. But yeah, he knows somebody that is part of the legislation and knows all the updates. So you probably know him too, David. But we'll find out. That's a great question to ask him. Mm-hmm.
Isn't he from Poplar Bluff? Greg is from Poplar Bluff, right?
Well, I thought he said Cape, but he's that area. He's got a lot of things in there. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Well, again, that's clarification that he'll be sharing with us. That's questions we need to ask him.
Yeah, I don't know if he does some stuff in Jackson or not. Yeah, not sure.
Yeah, he's got another business too, and I'm not even sure what that is. We'll have to find out. It's been, again, like I said, it's been a while since I've talked to Greg. I did talk to him yesterday for a few minutes, and we're going to interview him for our professional premiere series that we're doing it towards my podcast and for our members of the group here. So that'll be coming up in the next couple of weeks whenever we get that scheduled. So, but then he will be here on the 19th also. Anybody got anything they want to sell today?
I've got a help needed if there's any wholesalers on the line. So I have a vacant lot, and it's in Central West End, and there's a property right next door to it that is, I mean, it's just in disarray. I mean, disrepair. And so I have a guy going over there to cut the lot for me, and I told him, hey, if you ever see the owner, give him my information and tell him to call me because I'm interested in purchasing the house that is falling apart, but he's just holding on to. So he did call yesterday, and just, I guess, to continue the backstory, like I said, his house is falling apart. The bricks are continually falling in my lot. He does not take care of the backyard, yada, yada, yada. So I'm talking to him, and he right off the bat says, yeah, if you want to purchase, I hear you're interested in purchasing it. 75,000 is the asking. I want 75 for it. It is not worth 5. It's not. So my help needed is, how do I bring him back to reality and persuade him to sell me this house? Again, it's always a win-win for everybody. But I heard him out. He has no reason for the 75. He just wants it. But yeah, that would be my help needed is, does anybody have any good advice to persuade him to lower his price?
Is this the Central West End you said?
Correct. Yes.
So it's St. Louis County.
No, St. Louis City.
This is St. Louis. This is the city. Okay. You may just want to look up the public records and see how current he is on taxes. I do a lot of that just to see where people are at, because that can tell you a lot. See if he's actually the owner of the property.
He is, and he knows the game. I'll say I've been watching this property for years, and he knows to pay $100 every 3 years or whatever to make sure it doesn't hit the clock. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, well, I don't know, somebody's reality is interesting for a lot of us, the values. Things are worth whatever you pay for them. You may know this, I'm an amateur penny collector. I've got a penny in there, 09 SVDB that I paid $1,100 for. It's certified many years ago. I don't know, 10 or 12, probably 13 years ago now. It was worth I've considered it worth $1,100 when I bought it. You could crack it open and spend it for a penny anywhere. Today, though, the value, it's just like real estate, it's considered about $3,500 or $3,600. So value is in the eye of the beholder, just like everything else. If he's just got some unrealistic value, it may not be worth dealing with him, And sometimes that's just it. But as far as advice I have, I don't really know. I'm sure somebody else on here would probably know more than I would. I don't, deal in the Central West End myself. But it's a great place, I know, to do business. Does anybody else have anything they want to share on that?
We live in South St. Louis, and we had a similar area in our neighborhood where the landlord knew how to play the game. And we do have in our neighborhood a stabilization neighborhood program. Mm-hmm. So I don't know if they have something like that in the Central West End, but anyway, this organization was able to talk to him and get the property, or have him do something with it so that it wasn't a derelict property. So I don't know if Central West End has maybe a stabilization neighborhood organization.
That's a good, yeah, I can look into that. I mean, really, like I said, my intent is not because he's not going to update it. I mean, I can report him into the Citizen Service Bureau and all sorts of things. But I just really want the property. The people next door also want the property because it's an eyesore, and my intent is to build on my land. Obviously, I'm not telling him that because, obviously, once I say I'm building his, he'll hold firm to his 75,000. So, but yeah, I can try to reach out.
And I don't know if they were able to talk him into selling the property.
No,
they weren't.
No,
cleaned it up.
It's what he does. This gentleman, he owns practically an entire block on Brandon Avenue, just across the street from the state hospital, and the backs of the buildings are non-existent. But as long as he keeps a facade of some sort, then it's legal in the city of St. Louis. Granted, they're half burnt out facades, but and for some reason he's an older gentleman, and he just doesn't want to sell them to anybody. He doesn't want to do anything with them. So the stabilization was trying to persuade him to sell them or construct something that makes sense and looks nice. And he cleaned them up a little bit, but he doesn't want to do anything. Kind of like this guy. The only thing you can try to do when we're trying to convince a seller to reduce his price is just name the things that need to be done and try to make him tell you, well, if you have to have your house tuck pointed, you have bricks falling off, what do you think that's going to cost you? And see if he can come up with a price and just say, well, actually, tuck pointing now, it costs X amount of dollars. So if you need a new HVAC system, what do you think that's going to cost? And try to get him to come to a realization that in order for that property to sell for $75,000, he'll probably have to put $50,000 to improve it. So, and look at comparables, try to find some comparables that are in good condition and what those might sell for based on what he's asking. It's kind of a mind game, just trying to get them to understand that they don't have anything worth that kind of money. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. People want what they want, like you said.
So Amber,
I just keep at them and try to work them down.
Bring them to realization.
Right. You have nothing to lose, only everything to gain. So
Amber, question. So the city will allow that type of building to exist. So, because I'm gonna say if they were, forcing him to reconstruction or repair it or whatever is needed, I mean, sure, that's gonna cost, like Jean said, that's gonna cost, probably quite a bit. And if you could negotiate with like that price, but I'm just surprised. I didn't know they would allow, delinquent buildings to sit like that.
Oh yeah, there's tons around the city.
Yes.
But as you were talking, I thought about a good idea of maybe reaching out to the alderman or Mr. Betts, the sheriff. I will do my best to persuade him because I was going to go in. I'm supposed to go view the property, and I was telling a friend of mine yesterday I'm going to walk in and just pretty much similar to what you just said. Oh, so there's no running water in here. Okay. There's no electricity. Okay. And then he said something kind of interesting of, well, did you want to see the whole property? Yeah, I do. Like he's going to hide a room or something that, has a huge hole in it. I have no intent of, I don't want the property. I want the land, and I have the intent to tear it down. But to your point of, sir, if I have to put all of this in and you want a fair and reasonable offer from me, I'm not going to pay $75 or $75,000 for something that I'm going to tear down. And then, all of these different things that I have to put in it. So, yeah.
I just, like I said, I'm not familiar with the city rules, but I know in the county, they will not allow that at all. I mean, they will be on you just if there's a leaning fence or anything. So, but like if you go to, like you say, Alderman or someone like that, and tell them, just show them that this is an eyesore. They might not have even seen it. And maybe somehow they could persuade him to do something.
So we're in a pickle here because the alderman just resigned. These are probably all of the St. Louis investors on this call. So he is one of the aldermen that just resigned. But to your point, I'm going to become a nuisance to him until he changes his mind. So we'll see.
If nothing else works, nuisance. You're a nuisance, he's probably going to do something. Yeah.
What
So
about
just
sewer bills, Amber? Is that now that being the city? That's I don't know if that's MSD or not, because I know they won't let things go in the county. But do you know what the status is of that? Because he probably is not paying for that.
That's a good point. So there may be a lien on the property because of the sewer bill. I don't think you can call outright, but I've called on other properties and they will tell you, yes, there is an outstanding balance. They won't tell you how much it is, but they'll say, yes, something to that effect. So I can call and verify that.
You can also research what the value of the land is. And like what was stated before, if you're planning on tearing down the house, so you will deduct the cost of tearing down the house, and that will be what his land is worth. So if you do your comps on the value of the land in the area, and then your cost to tear down the structure, you can come up with a price.
Yeah, that's a good point as well. So my land, actually, the city tore down the house that was on it. And you can look up the property, and just for awareness for other people, if you're interested in it, you can look it up because the city paid to have it torn down. So it's in the city records. So for my actual house, it was $6,000 to tear down the land. They paid a demolition crew. So to your point, I can factor that in as well.
It's probably best to find out what his motivation is.
Yeah. So back to wholesaling. That's why I kind of brought it up to, hey, is there a wholesaler on the line, to figure out what his actual motivation is? Because if because I have been told by other people in the neighborhood, he doesn't realize I used to live right there, so I know the neighbors. So they have said they've made him offers as well. But he was holding on to it in hopes of one of his sons taking it over. And so I kind of brought that up. He said, oh, no, I have other family members who want it. No, you don't. You're just holding on to it, probably for sentimental value. So, but yes, I will try and dig into why this number.
And that will happen with conversation with them.
Right. So that is my intent, is next Saturday to walk the property with him and close my mouth as much as possible and listen as much as I can. So.
Finding out what the real motivation is, like you're saying here, Amber and Jim. Thank you. Yeah, you just got to get in and figure out what it is. He tells you one thing. It's not for his kids though, like he just said, because you already found that out. You just got to find out what his motivation is, and I think it is a good point as far as finding out what the comps for the land value is, and then what the demolition cost is. If $6,000 you can get the place torn down from the city, I think that's a pretty good deal, because I know in other parts it's at least 10, 15, some places $20,000 now to demolish anything, and that gets tacked on in many cases right on the property. So yeah, it'd be interesting. It'd be great if you could share that with us, Amber, when what your experience is with the guy. I'd love to hear that. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's all a learning experience for anybody on the phone. So I will share hopefully some good news in I'm not even going to say months to come. I'm sure I'll have to talk him down for a while. So, but yeah.
Yep. Good luck, Amber.
Yeah, good luck.
We wish you the best on that.
Yeah, good luck.
Thank you.
Is it okay to go ahead with a need?
Yes, absolutely.
I am rehabbing properties in Illinois, so I'm in need of contractors for the Illinois side. Areas like O'Fallon, Fairview Heights, Columbia, just the Metro East area.
Okay. What type of work are you looking for, Edwina?
Looking for plumbers, HVAC installers, electricians, handymen, and what else? Painters.
Okay. Do you have a project you're working on right now, or are you just putting this out there that you're looking for some people to do this?
Project now.
Okay.
And in need of a plumber and an electrician.
Okay. All right. Would you like to put your contact information in the chat there and go ahead and mention it for
Absolutely.
Yeah, that'd be great. So if anybody's a plumber, electrician, or for the east side, for the Metro East Illinois area. So that's, yeah, contractors are one of the more challenging things, I think, for a lot of us right now. I know it's the people that are good, a lot of them are busy. And the ones that aren't busy, we don't want all them.
Yeah, that's what I'm running into that. A lot of the ones in Missouri don't want to come to the Illinois side. And if they do, they're very busy and, they don't have the, they can't even come over to do a quote because they don't see their way through to, having room to do the job, anytime soon.
Mm-hmm.
Can you provide your email address? I worked with a plumber not too long ago, and he was from the east side, I'll say. I'm not exactly sure the area, but I know he had a 618 number. So he would probably be a good resource for you. So if you have that, it'll take me a second to dig his name and contact information out. But
okay, I'll go ahead and put it in the chat box for you. Sorry, it's a 314 number, but I'm in Illinois, so. And I'll put my email in here as well.
Okay, and John, you ask in the chat here, is St. Louis County currently doing evictions? Yeah, I believe they are. I don't know why they wouldn't be. Kathy Davis will be here next week, and you can ask the attorney anything you'd like. In the meantime, you can always call her office. She's in trial today, or she'd be here, probably on an eviction would be my guess, because that's what they do. So, but yeah, I don't know of any reason why they would not be doing evictions right now. As far as I know, everything's business as usual.
Good morning, John.
Hi, Ann.
Yeah, so I added a question also to the chat for a contractor who can look at a leak around a window frame. If anyone has a recommendation there.
Okay, where is your property at?
On Cherokee.
On Cherokee, okay. If anybody has a leak around a window, are you just looking to get it fixed? You're not looking to replace it, correct?
Correct.
Okay. Is it like a wind leak, or is it a water leak, or what type of leak is it?
I think it's a wind leak because it's not like it leaks all the time when it rains, but when those hurricane force winds come through, it seems to find the leak somewhere.
Okay.
Hey, Ann, I do a little bit of contracting work, and I'm actually going to I have a property on Cherokee, and I'm going to be there on Tuesday if you want me to come by and just take a look at it.
Sure.
I'll put my contact in there, and we'll come up with the time.
Okay. And my boyfriend, Doug, is the one who will meet you down there.
And is it, how high is the window? How tall is it?
It's just the first floor ground level.
Perfect.
Yeah. Do you know where STL Rocks is? And I'm trying to think of the storefront also next door, but 2001, 2003 Cherokee.
Okay. Yeah, just reach out to me maybe after the call or something. We'll.
Okay. Thanks.
Yeah, thank you, Scott. Is there anything else that you would like that? I mean, to put that out, because I know you do some work like this. And for any of the other members or our attendees here, is there anything that you would like to do, anything you would not like to do in any certain areas that you'd like to share with us?
Trying to figure that out. So I'm an independent contractor. Have been mainly doing that work for the last few years, and you know, I have a smaller work day, so I'm trying to stay a little closer to home, which is West County area. But I'm filling a vacancy at Cherokee, so I'm trying to you know make ends meet and knock things out at the same time. But I'm also doing general contracting work, so roof, siding, gutters, so like insurance claims and things like that. That's a really good niche for me right now. I'm bilingual, so I communicate very effectively with my contractors, and I think it's a better, you know, they know that we can connect better and communicate better, and I treat them well, and I'm around a lot, and you know, we have fun together, as opposed to a lot of the big GCs who just say, you know, here's the materials, get the job done as soon as possible. So I'm enjoying that. So you know, that I can travel for a little bit more widespread in the St. Louis area. So yeah, I'll put my contact in there if anybody's looking for that. But I can't, a lot of people reach out on some of the smaller kind of handyman style things, and I wish that I could do all that, but it's just, it's a lot of time and travel that just, you know, it is difficult to make that kind of the big business. So, but thanks, John.
Yeah, thank you, Scott. Yeah, if you would put your contact information in there, that's very, could be very helpful for a lot of us here. Thank you.
Sure. And my gosh, I'm blowing up the chat here. I don't know how to add a line, apparently.
It's okay. Yeah,
I was going to say, so I'm filling this vacancy on I'm filling this vacancy on a 4-bedroom on Cherokee, and so it's a duplex, and I've got the 1 4-bedroom filled with a Section 8 tenant, and that's been going well for the last 8 months or so. And I'm filling this one, and was, you know, just thinking I'm going to go with Section 8 again. And someone reached out to me. It was a client who's working with the ALM Hopewell Center. And I guess it's a branch of the Department of Mental Health. And maybe you guys are familiar with that. I've heard of it before, but I think my impression is that this is a newer voucher system that they're trying to get some of their clients into more residential. I think in the past they've done, you know, a lot of work with bigger apartment complexes, maybe smaller bedroom count, you know, like a 1-bed, 2-bed count. And they've kind of created this voucher system that's pretty much the same as Section 8. In fact, a lot of their documentation says Section 8 on the top of it. But anyway, I'm gonna go with this this client and give it a shot from the Hopewell Center. I was curious if anybody has had experience with that. But you know, they are using the same payment standard as the Housing Authority, it seems. Haven't gone into the rent negotiation yet. But one thing that sets them apart is it seems like their caseworkers are really hands-on. They'll do monthly home visits for their clients to make sure that they're taking care of the property. And the caseworker stressed to me that they don't want clutter in the house, and so that they're going to really hammer on clutter with their clients. So I mean, that's a big positive. And another positive is that typically it takes, I think, a minimum of 45 days on average to place a Section 8 tenant in St. Louis City, as I've kind of heard. The woman who runs this program said, well, if you submit the voucher and the packet for the client, I'll be there in the next 1 or 2 days personally to do my inspection. And as long as you have occupancy permit, we'll get them in. So that turnaround time sounds like it could be, you know, about a week. which is fantastic. So I'm waiting to hear back on that initial inspection, and I'll report, but I was just curious if anybody's had experience with Hopewell.
Scott, earlier you mentioned ALM. Is that the same? You said ALM Center?
Yeah, it's I think it stands for Andrea Luckett, or AM. I believe it's ALM. Andrea Luckett something. It's named after somebody, but they just call it the ALM Hopewell Center.
Oh, okay. Just making sure. I originally thought that was two separate centers, but okay, I got it.
I'm not familiar with it, but subsidized housing to me is a great option. Just, I guess one of the small red flags that from just hearing you talk that would kind of slow me down in my process is they're saying, we'll get people in faster, but make sure you do your own due diligence and make sure, background checks are ran for people. The money is great, for obvious reasons, but just make sure you're doing your due diligence to make sure you get a quality tenant in there.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I add just a little bit of more information about what I do as far as my needs. I was saying that I needed to contract some contractors in the Illinois area earlier. Just a side note, I work with David Randolph. I'm one of his students. And I work with some of his contractors in Missouri. And David works with me on some of my projects in Illinois. He doesn't, he's not focused in Illinois. I'm his Illinois person, basically, as one of his students. So I know some of you know David Randolph. And I've been able to secure some contractors just through everybody knowing who David Randolph is. But just FYI.
Thank you. It's all good to network like this too. Yeah, David's been a member of our group for a little while now, and he's a good guy. All right, a lot of good information today, a lot of good shares. It's we'll have if you didn't have a chance to jot down, because I know sometimes we're on our cars and in our cars and on on the mobile phones. We will have the the rendition of the replay up as soon as I can get it up. It's normally I don't know what's going on with the holiday as far as our webmaster goes. I always say I'll have it to him by midnight, the night it gets done, and I usually I actually always have so far. Unless I, had something else and I said that, but can always go back and watch any of our replays because I do myself. There's a lot of good, valuable information we get here just by networking. So, anybody else got anything they want to share? Anybody got anything for sale this week?
Hey, John, I have a question.
Yes, ma'am. Jennifer.
So I'm super excited. I know I'm not in the same area as everybody else, but I'm down in Florida. But yesterday I met with a real estate investor, and it looks like we're going to partner on some deals. But the number one thing we're looking for is money. Mm-hmm. And I know a couple hard money lenders, but I was looking to see if anybody had any resources. And I know David Randall, I'll talk to him as well. I'm not doing short sales, but we have 3 different properties that he already has under contract. And so I'm looking through the deals to see, how sexy they are, but I'm looking for some new resources for money. So if anybody has ideas for even hard money lenders, I wouldn't mind talking to some people and compare and contrast how many points they require and stuff. Some of these are just flips, but I know one of them's a buy, renovate, and hold. Because again, like most places, the rents have literally tripled. So you can buy a place and then triple the rent, and it can cash flow pretty well as well. So I'm looking for money.
Yes. Actually, I was just looking, Rob Fishbein from one of our vendors from STL REIA JMRE Capital. I think it's actually JMREcapital.com. And their number is, let's see here, 1-844 we close. They do a lot of things with investors. They usually have a representative that show up every month.
Okay.
Let me see what numbers I got. I've got.
What's his name? What did you say his name was?
Rob Fishbein. The Fishbein actually is the guy who I know. He's the one from New York that comes here, or he doesn't come here. He has another representative come here, but he's the one that set it up with our RIA group. He's a pretty good guy. I'll tell you what, let me go ahead and put their numbers that I have in here.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
If you don't happen to get a hold of him, let me know. I think this is the, let's see. And this holiday weekend, we were kind of talking about that actually before the call started. This is I think one of the greatest times to do business because all these people are on vacation mode. Yeah. And I find some of the best deals and the best stuff going on right now. It's just like when people say, "Oh, get a hold of me after the holidays," after the first of the year. That's always the best time for me to find deals. I mean, I don't know, some of you know, I just sent off 40 deeds yesterday on a guy that wants to give me 40 properties for free. Wow. And that's the most I've ever done, which will be interesting. I'll let you know how that pans out. I'm not planning on taking them all, but you never know. I mean, I have a lot of things to do with meeting with associations and stuff, but most people are on vacation mode right now. Yes. Look for the money, look for the deals. I mean, I just think it's one of the best times.
I agree with you. I found that in Washington, D.C. as well. Around the holidays, every holiday when people check out, and January, it's usually one of our coldest months. And those are the best deals I've ever got are during holidays when other people are like, that's it, I'm taking off and, checking out. Woohoo.
Yes. Yeah. So I'll put Rob's info in here. And like I said, if you don't get a hold of him right away, let me know. And I'll make sure we get him in touch with you because there is lots of money out there, Jennifer, right now. And the deal, people invest in people is what we're finding out. But the deals are really good right now too. When you run into them, the money is there.
Well, and the guy that I looks like I'm going to partner with, it's kind of perfect because he's from out of the country. So he's waiting on his green card. And so as you talk about people wanting to invest in people, they don't want to invest with somebody who doesn't have their green card yet. Mm-hmm. So it's a perfect kind of partnership is he's willing to do, and he's done an enormous amount of research and found these 3 deals and got them under contract, which is great. 1 in Tampa, 2 in Clearwater. And now I just need to find the money for him. Ha ha ha.
There you go. There's the information I have on Rob right there.
Nice. I see his email and his phone number. Perfect. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Certainly.
Yeah.
That's great. Yeah. In Florida, is Florida still going up like leaps and bounds like it was, Jennifer?
It's like I think you and I were having this conversation like a week ago or so, but it's funny. It's just like the Washington D.C. area. There are some parts of it that are just still screaming with multiple offers, and it's crazy. But people have to feel like they're getting, and here's my air quotes, a deal. But we're also seeing price reduction, and you're starting to finally see bleeding out into the market, short sale, foreclosure. So it's now very interesting. It's a market in flux, and very interesting. Just yeah, interesting.
Yeah, this is an interesting time that we're in right now. I mean, there's a lot of people that are doing bigger deals, kind of holding back that I see a little bit. The recession's already started. Some people say, no, it's going to be a while. Personally, I always just look for not paying retail and getting a bargain anyway. I mean, if the deal makes sense, and depending on what your exit strategy is, if it's cash flow, the deal has to make sense for long term. If it's something you're, looking at doing with flipping a property or making some quick cash, then that's a different strategy. So exactly. I think, a lot of people don't have enough, they don't have their exit strategy in mind as much as some of us do. And I just think it's important. I don't like to use the word or the term having a plan B, but I think sometimes we need to have something, a backup plan just in case. And we may be in one of those times. I don't know.
Yeah, I think it's going to be, I think you need to be nimble. You need to be nimble right now, and you need to be paying attention to every little indicator in the market. And again, like you just said, if your long-term strategy, you need to look and say, okay, so like right now I'm talking about them tripling the rent. Well, what happens if the rent goes and now it goes from triple and you got people leaving and they're like, oh, we'll only pay half, or we'll pay blah. Are you still going to cash flow? Or is it only while it's triple the rent? So I think that's really important.
Yeah, and the rent has tripled in many areas across the country. We just heard about some in Kentucky that went up 3 times. Well, the wages didn't go up that high.
Oh,
so
yeah, absolutely. Yep.
People that are working on margins with something that I always not liked, but like cap rates and things like that, and they got adjustable rates. If they go up 1 or 2 or even 3 points, like some of these adjustable rates have, that could make all the difference in whether you cash flow or not. And then what's that going to do to your property? Are you going to keep your renters? I don't know. All things.
Yeah, absolutely. I see. Is it John in the thing asked about self-directed IRAs? So were you curious about self-directed IRAs do you have a self-directed IRA, or do you need to know, do you need a company that does self-directed IRAs, or do you want people who have them? I don't know if John can talk. I need a company. You mean a company to self-direct your personal IRA? Is that right? Okay, good. So anyway, I'm sorry, John, did you want me to answer that, or do you want to answer? Now that I'm just starting.
It's fine. It's all good to share. Yeah, we've used in the past. Equity Trust has come and done some presentations to our group quite a few times. You're welcome to look at the replays. But yeah, Jennifer, anything you'd like to share is great.
Yeah, I was going to say I've used Equity Trust before, and I know some of the guys over at Equity Trust. I was going to say there's a couple different ones, but I would highly recommend that you go what John just said and look at the replays so that you can kind of get an idea. The cool part is you want to get a self-directed IRA company that likes to specialize in education. A lot of the companies are really good about education, and I highly recommend the ones that are willing to continue to help educate you, because yeah, they're fantastic once you get the right one.
Yes, thank you. Yeah, we have some replays, and I can, let me see if I can find one of those for you. If not, you can go to our, it's in the member section. All the replays are in the, on the STL REIA website, STLREIA.com. If you go in the member section, you can see all the replays, but there'll be a couple of them from Equity Trust. Like Jennifer said, though, education is huge, because some of the companies out there will set you up an account, but you want somebody that's going to work with you. And there are a few of them they're really good. But yeah, just listen to people that are doing it, see what their experience is. I know Jan Duke, one of our members, she does a lot of the higher end homes in St. Louis. She, her and her daughter actually have spoke on their national stage with them a couple of times. Her daughter was, I think, 14 the first time she talked about the IRAs and the self-directed IRAs. And I know they've done percentages of her being an investor when she was only 14 years old. So those are always interesting to hear what people are doing like that. There are some do's and don'ts too. You can't do any of the work yourself if you use your money. There's just a lot of things that I think you do need to know, and working with somebody, a company that will educate you, and with people that like that. It's, education is so important, when it comes to that stuff, because the details. And I think from my understanding, what the IRS tells you is what you can't do, not necessarily what you can do. So you have to work within those perimeters and their guidelines.
Yeah, you had that podcast of Jim that made it to Facebook last night, where he said that, I don't know if you wanted to direct other people if they're on Facebook to that, although you probably sent it out to everybody that's on the list anyway, for what that's worth. That was a nice podcast there.
Last night, or maybe wasn't quite that late, but pretty close. But yeah, that's one we were going to share. And yeah, Jim is very knowledgeable. He he has some buy and hold properties, some rentals, which he's done with his self-directed IRA. So he really knows. He's also done note investing with, Kevin Chartel that was here a couple months ago. Jim's one of his students, and yeah, there's some really good information. Jim really shared a lot with us on that because he's a big proponent of self-directed IRAs. So and you may want to talk to Jim. Jim's not here today because he's on holiday, on vacation, but he's at least I don't think he tuned in. He said he might if he could. I don't see him on here. So, but he's a good one. Jim Choik, he's a member of our board. He's actually the treasurer now. Our longtime treasurer, Ruth Hollander, passed away last year, about a year or so ago. And Jim kind of took over for her, and he's done a great job, but he's very knowledgeable. He's a very good person with a good heart. He likes to help people. So yeah, that's, thanks for bringing that up, Bruce. Hey, does anybody else have anything they'd like to share today? I know we're coming up on a holiday, but that's, like I said, that's a great time to look for deals and bargains when everybody else is sitting around the pool eating hot dogs. Some of us are going to be looking at deals. Okay, well, I guess if we don't have anything, we had some really good shares today. I'll get the rendition up as soon as I can, or as soon as Patrick can get it up. I'll have it on there later today, though, by midnight. So if for some reason you don't see the replay and you want any information of anything or from anyone we've talked to, just reach out to me and I will be happy to get that to you, because I'll have it at least up on YouTube by later today. So I appreciate everybody tuning in. We had some really good shares today. I thank everybody.
Before we go, John,
yes,
can you put your contact information in the chat box?
Absolutely.
Or Jennifer's, if she's still on there, I'm not sure.
Yeah, anybody that wants to put it in there, and feel free to reach out to me anytime for anything on here, because here's the way we look at it here. And we don't put necessarily everybody's contact information out on like YouTube or, even on Facebook, unless you want to, even if you want to share it. But this is kind of like way we look at it. It's like it's sharing your business card. If you're there with somebody and we're meeting at lunch, yeah, we exchange cards, but you don't pass the card around everybody at Applebee's, and that's kind of how we do it here, because there's just, and I hate to say it, but there's a lot of craziness going on out in the world today. But yeah, anybody, if you would like to know anything, anybody that shared anything today, and because we know you're here, I'd be, happy to get that for you too.
Okay, great. Thank you.
So there's mine right there if you want to jot it down.
Okay.
And
if you could get Jennifer's information for me, if that's possible. Jennifer Hammond.
Jennifer, would are you still here? Would you like to share your contact information here, or way you would like for us to get a hold of you? There we go. Okay, thank you.
Appreciate it.
And for anybody from Canada today, I don't think we have anybody, but happy Canada Day. And for us in the US, happy 4th of July on Monday. So I know people in Australia and New Zealand and Singapore, some of the other groups I'm in, they think we're all crazy anyway. So and we probably are, but that's okay. That makes us all work good together. So everybody have a great holiday, great weekend. Look forward to seeing you next week for Ask the Attorney with Kathy Davis. In the meantime, if you want to know anything from me, feel free to just say hi, reach out. And if you don't get me right away, I will get back with you as soon as I can.
All right, great.
Thanks.
Happy 4th.
Thanks, John.
Thank you, everybody.
Happy 4th, everybody. July 4th. Happy weekend.
Thanks so much.